Hi everyone, it's me, Liz, CEO and founder of Worth It, positive and organisational psychologist that specialises in the early prevention of mental health problems in children and young people. So today I'm going to be talking about, again, early prevention and how to help adolescents improve their well-being. I'm focusing on adolescents at the moment because I really feel that they're underserved and it's easier to provide interventions and approaches for children in primary schools, partly because of the way primary schools are set up, partly because it's easier to integrate that into curriculum. So we do have some other videos about how to support children's wellbeing on the YouTube channel, so have a look in the other videos if you want some information on children. But today we're focusing on adolescents. So one of the key theories that we have in our Wellbeing Academy programs, and that's in the field of positive psychology, although it predates positive psychology as a movement, which didn't start until the late 90s, is self-determination theory by DC and Ryan. If you want to look up that theory, it's a very famous theory. It's used a lot in organisational development, and I'm also an organisational positive psychologist, and I look at a lot around system transformation and whole school approaches. So this theory, self-determination theory, is something that we can apply on an individual basis, or we can apply on a systems basis. So we can integrate these approaches into our curriculums, our ethos and our culture, which is the ultimate way to really provide early prevention, but looking on an individual basis, because what we're working within is a flawed system that does make young people have mental health problems just by the nature of the system that they're operating in. So what we really have to be doing, because I'm pragmatic and I can't transform the system, I'm just one person, I'm just a cog in a big machine, is what can we do pragmatically to help the young people that we're working with today. So one thing that we can do is know what self-determination theory is, what the components of self-determination, can't get my words out, what the components of self-determination theory is, and then encourage them to be developed. So as I talk about these things, I want you to think about how can you implement that more in your work with young people, no matter what your role is: teacher, school leader, youth worker, support worker, school nurse, any practitioner really that works with teenagers or even young adults, because I used to work in higher education as well, and with my undergrads I'd often see this is a major issue. So self-determination theory has three main components: competence, autonomy and relatedness. So if we can increase competence, autonomy or relatedness, we are improving well-being and we are protecting against the onset of mental health problems developing in the first place. 50% of adult mental health problems develop before the age of 14. So we really do need to be helping people learn strategies for well-being earlier. Okay, so let's talk about it. Autonomy, what does that mean? It means that you are a master of your own life. You can make autonomous decisions about your own way of doing things, what's important to you, and that you have agency in your life. So what's really challenging is quite often for teenagers, a lot of their autonomy is taken away. And they're going through that developmental stage of figuring out who they are as people and maybe experimenting with dress or gender or identity or friendship groups or things that they're into. And that's kind of them figuring out how to be autonomous human beings and move towards adulthood. So is there only opportunities where you can create chances for them to find more autonomy and have more control over what they do? So that's why I advocate a coaching approach, because coaching is about asking questions, not telling young people what to do. It's about asking them questions to help them figure out what matters to them and how they can be more autonomous and more in control of their choices, their thoughts, their feelings and their behaviour. And then that helps improve their well-being. So it's not so much the coaching itself, it's what the coaching does to help the young person gain more autonomy. The second thing is competence. So if you're in a school where you feel like you're a failure and that everything you do is wrong and everything you do is rubbish, you're going to have no competence. So can you create opportunities for young people to feel good at things they do? That might be academically, it might be sports, drama, art, hobbies, gaming, anything. It doesn't matter what the thing is. The thing is that they have to feel that they are good at it, and they recognize their strengths, and that they're able to say, yes, I'm good at that thing. Lots of young people that I encounter and I've worked with are not able to say one thing that they're good at. And I don't know if this is a British cultural issue. We, the tall poppy syndrome, it's called. We cut down the people that stand out, that say they're good at stuff, because it's big-headed, and it's disrespectful to other people to show off. Oh, stop showing off. So yeah, we have a culture where we tell young people all the time to stop showing off and to stop being big heads, and you don't want to love yourself, do you? And it's partly a developmental stage that they go through, where they want to fit in. So belonging to the group is more important to them than standing out, but they also want to be individuals, and they're trying to discover who they are as autonomous human beings. It's really hard being a teenager. We should support teenagers. I love teenagers. That's why I do this work. I know they're difficult. I know they've got their issues, but it's, they can be wonderful people as well. So so how can we help young people have more autonomy, more competence, and feel able to understand what they're good at? So one approach that we use in positive psychology coaching is strengths. So we're looking at different strengths of young people and helping them find out what are their unique combination of strengths, and how do they represent them in their work and what they do and their choices and their decisions and their actions and their behavior, and how can they do those things more, because learning what your strengths are, figuring it out, helps you to be more resilient. I've got a video on strengths coaching, I'll link to it. So helping young people figure out their strengths, find out what they are. And this is a specific technique that we do in positive psychology coaching with strengths. The strengths frameworks are positive psychology interventions, and then we're applying them in a coaching relationship. So if you want to find out how to do that, then join my coach training course, or look at some of my videos and blogs I'll link to on the notes below. And then the third thing is relatedness. So relatedness, I cannot say how important this is for teenagers more than any other age group. Humans need to be with other people. They are not suited to being solitary creatures. They are suited to being part of the group, part of the herd. And loneliness in adolescence is a severe cause of mental health problems. And what I fear and I've noticed as a result of the pandemic, it was a worry of mine before, to be honest, that young people don't know how to communicate anymore, and they can't make lasting friendships because of technology. And then because they relied so much on technology during the pandemic, that they don't speak to each other on the phone. I was in the mobile phone shop and getting my phone sorted and my new phone sorted, and the guys in the mobile phone shop were saying about these teenagers, were like, oh, wouldn't it be good if there's an app where you could just call each other? And it's like, yeah, that's the phone. The purpose of the phone is to call each other. It's just mind-blowing that teenagers don't even think that the phone is to phone people. The phone is to do all the other things like Snapchat, TikTok, Insta, whatever the latest way of communicating that isn't phoning each other. And psychological research tells you cannot build a connection on text. You cannot build a connection by video calls. You have to build a connection by voice to voice or face to face, or being in the same room as a human being. So the most that we can do is help young people learn how to communicate and feel confident to have positive relationships with other young people. So team sports is good for this. Anything like that gets them to build and connect with each other. Group work in the classroom. And I know that they hate doing it, especially that year 10, 11, because that's the developmental stage that they're going through, where they're cripplingly self-conscious and they don't want to stand out. So asking them to talk to somebody they don't know is like torturing them. So it's very nuanced and it's very challenging, and each kind of age and year, and with puberty kicking in, is going to have a different effect on how the young people are interacting together. So one approach, again, using coaching, is helping them through the relationship and helping them through that coaching interaction actually learn to be a better communicator, because they're practicing the skill of communication with you as your coach, as their coach, through the coaching relationship. And they're also experiencing a relationship with a trusted, safe adult, so they can feel what a healthy child to adult relationship actually feels like, where they're respected, they have autonomy, then they help to realize the things that they're competent at through that relationship with you as a coach. So that is why coaching is such an important approach to improving adolescents' well-being. I will not stop talking about it. So, I mean, you can actually become a coach and work with young people. So I'll obviously join my coach training course. It's open for enrollment twice a year. It's currently open in October, starting in October 23. So join that course. It's accredited, and you can learn to be a coach that specialises in positive psychology coaching for young people to help prevent the onset of mental health problems. So it might be that you're already a counsellor or working a pastoral role, and you want to add, or a mentor or a youth worker or something like that, and you want to add another string to your bow. It might be that you work in a school and you want to start doing more early prevention because you realise that there's not much support out there and you want to use a coaching approach. So coaching doesn't necessarily mean you have to sit down and do 60-minute or 50-minute, I'll recommend 45, 50 minutes with a young person, a coaching one-to-one, but it can also mean you take the principles and culture and approaches within a coaching relationship and you apply them at a much more strategic level. So the way you do your behaviour policy, the way you do when somebody's needs to be disciplined, that they have some autonomy and say in, they understand what's going on. Do you know what I mean? So you can use coaching in a much more creative ways than just sit down and coach somebody. You can also use coaching in a coaching style in lessons, group work programs, targeted intervention programs based on a coaching approach, where we're not telling people how to improve their well-being by do this tool, do a gratitude chart, do mindfulness. We're actually asking questions. What helps you to have good well-being? And they might not even be able to answer that question because they don't know what good well-being is. So questions like, when you feel good, what are you doing and how can you do that more? So that's a coachy style of doing things that you can start to integrate into your practice. So hopefully you found that video helpful. If you want me to do any more videos on anything specific, write me a comment and I'll pick that up. And also check out the other videos I mentioned and some of my free webinar on early intervention and prevention for young people, a free webinar series on coaching young people, all linked below. I'll see you again soon.